Can you really trust everything a president tells the people? History has shown us that even the most powerful leaders in the United States have stood before the nation and spoken words that were later proven to be false. Some lied to protect their own image, others to cover up mistakes, and a few told lies so big that they changed the course of history itself. These were not small misstatements or slips of the tongue. These were calculated words meant to shape opinion, win support, or hide the truth. But why would a president, the highest elected official in the country, risk telling a lie to millions of people? The truth is, politics is built on trust, yet trust is also the easiest thing to break. When a leader speaks, people want to believe. They want to think their president is honest, strong, and worthy of the office. That's exactly why lies can be so powerful, and so dangerous. They shape wars, they sway elections, and they can fracture the faith people have in their government. In this video, we'll uncover 10 of the most shocking lies ever told by US presidents. Some of these lies cost lives, others destroyed reputations, and a few still spark debate today. And here's your reward for staying with me until the very end. The final lie on this list is one that not only fooled the American public, but also altered the course of the entire world. You won't want to miss it. Richard Nixon once stood before the American people and declared, "I am not a crook." It was 1973, at the height of the Watergate scandal. The nation was shaken by reports of a break-in at the Democratic National Committee headquarters and a growing suspicion that the president himself had been involved in a cover-up. Nixon's words were meant to calm the country, to convince citizens that their leader was innocent. But the truth was far darker. Just a year later, evidence revealed tapes that directly tied Nixon to the conspiracy. His denial collapsed, his credibility was destroyed, and for the first time in American history, a president resigned in disgrace. Fast forward 2 decades, and Bill Clinton found himself in the middle of another scandal that rocked the nation. In 1998, facing questions about his relationship with White House intern Monica Lewinsky, Clinton looked straight into the cameras and insisted, "I did not have sexual relations with that woman." It was a lie repeated over and over. But when undeniable evidence surfaced, his words came back to haunt him. The lie led to impeachment proceedings and forever tarnished his presidency, proving once again that the truth has a way of breaking through even the strongest defenses. Another president who bent the truth was Lyndon B. Johnson. In 1964, Johnson told the American people that North Vietnam had attacked US ships in the Gulf of Tonkin. He framed it as unprovoked aggression, and Congress quickly passed a resolution giving him the power to escalate the Vietnam War. But later, it became clear that the so-called attack was exaggerated, if not entirely fabricated. Johnson's lie opened the door to a conflict that claimed the lives of more than 58,000 Americans and countless Vietnamese. The cost of that deception was measured in blood, not just in politics. Decades later, George W. Bush repeated history with a new kind of war. In the early 2000s, his administration declared with certainty that Iraq had weapons of mass destruction. This claim was used to justify the invasion of Iraq in 2003. Americans were told it was a matter of national security, that the threat was real and urgent. But as the war dragged on, no weapons were ever found. The promise was false, and the world learned that once again, a presidential lie had pushed the nation into a devastating conflict. Ronald Reagan also left his mark with a lie that would later be exposed. In the mid-1980s, reporters pressed him on whether his administration had secretly traded arms for hostages with Iran. Reagan firmly denied it, calling the idea absurd. Yet months later, investigations uncovered the Iran-Contra affair, an illegal deal where weapons were exchanged for hostages, and the money was funneled to fund rebels in Nicaragua. Reagan's denial shattered public trust and reminded Americans that even a popular president could mislead the country when the truth was inconvenient. John F. Kennedy, often remembered for his charisma and inspiring speeches, also had his moment of deception. In 1961, when the Bay of Pigs invasion failed in Cuba, Kennedy initially denied that the United States had played any role. He wanted the world to believe it was simply Cuban exiles acting on their own. But the truth came out quickly. The CIA had planned and supported the invasion from the start. Kennedy's denial was an attempt to protect America's image during the Cold War, but instead, it damaged US credibility on the world stage and embarrassed his young presidency. Decades later, Barack Obama made a promise that would come back to haunt him. While selling the Affordable Care Act to the American people, he repeated one line over and over: "If you like your healthcare plan, you can keep it." For millions of Americans, that turned out not to be true. Many people lost their existing insurance plans when the law took effect. Critics seized on the broken promise, calling it the lie of the year in 2013. While Obama supporters argued that the law still expanded healthcare, the false assurance left many citizens feeling betrayed. Donald Trump, too, faced his own controversy over honesty. In early 2020, at the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, Trump admitted privately that the virus was far more dangerous than the flu. But in public, he downplayed its severity, saying it was under control and would disappear. His stated reason later was that he didn't want to cause panic. But critics argued that this lie cost valuable time, leaving the country unprepared for what would become a national crisis. The gap between his private words and public statements remains one of the most heavily debated moments of his presidency. Looking back further, Franklin D. Roosevelt also misled the American people in the tense years before World War II. During his 1940 campaign, Roosevelt promised he would keep America out of foreign wars. He reassured voters who were weary from World War I, telling them that their sons would not be sent into another conflict. Yet even as he said these words, Roosevelt was secretly preparing for U.S. involvement, supplying Britain and moving the country closer to war. After Pearl Harbor, America entered World War II, and Roosevelt's promise was exposed as a political maneuver to secure re-election. And finally, we reach James K. Polk in the 1840s. Polk claimed that Mexico had shed American blood upon American soil, using that statement to push Congress into declaring war against Mexico. But historians later revealed that the skirmish had not taken place on uncontested American land at all. It happened on disputed territory. Polk's words were designed to inflame public anger and justify expansion. His lie sparked the Mexican-American War, a conflict that redrew the map of North America and cost thousands of lives. When we look at these 10 lies side by side, one thing becomes clear: words from a president are never just words. They can launch wars, shift public opinion, and even rewrite history. Nixon's lie shattered faith in the presidency itself. Johnson's Gulf of Tonkin story pulled America deeper into Vietnam. Bush's claims about weapons of mass destruction reshaped the Middle East and cost hundreds of thousands of lives. Each lie carried consequences that rippled far beyond the moment they were spoken. These lies also reveal a deeper truth about leadership. Power often comes with temptation. A president may think a lie will protect their image, calm the public, or buy them time. But in the end, lies have a way of unraveling. Clinton's denial about Monica Lewinsky destroyed trust in his words. Obama's broken promise on healthcare haunted his legacy. Trump's downplaying of COVID-19 left scars on a nation already in crisis. The short-term gain of lying almost always turns into long-term damage. And it's not just about politics, it's about trust between people and their government. A lie at this level teaches citizens to doubt everything, even the truth. When Reagan denied the Iran-Contra deal, Americans began questioning how much their leaders really told them. When Roosevelt promised neutrality, then led the nation into World War II, people realized campaign promises could be broken with ease. Lies erode confidence, and once trust is gone, it is almost impossible to rebuild. Beyond America's borders, presidential lies shaped the country's reputation around the world. Kennedy's denial over the Bay of Pigs showed allies and enemies that even the United States would twist the truth when cornered. Polk's exaggeration about Mexico painted America as an aggressor disguised as a victim. These lies didn't just affect Americans, they changed how the world saw the nation, sometimes for generations. So, when presidents lie, it isn't simply about saving face in the moment. It's about rewriting reality in a way that millions of people believe, even if only for a time. And when the truth finally surfaces, the damage is already done. Wars are fought, lives are lost, and the public is left to pick up the pieces. The question that remains is this: if so many lies have shaped history, how can we know when a leader is telling the truth today? The lesson from all of this is simple but powerful. We can never afford blind trust in leadership. Presidents are human. They face pressure, they chase power, and sometimes, they bend the truth to get what they want. But when lies come from the top, the impact is far greater than one person's reputation. It shapes policy, sways millions of minds, and can even decide whether a nation goes to war or stays at peace. That's why questioning what leaders say is not just healthy, it's necessary. Today, the challenge is even bigger. Unlike the past, when lies could take years to unravel, Misinformation now spreads in seconds. A single statement can circle the globe before fact-checkers catch up. That means it's on us, as citizens, to stay alert. We must listen, but we must also verify. We must demand honesty and hold leaders accountable when they fail to deliver it. Democracy only works when the people are awake, not when they blindly believe every word from the podium. Another lesson is that lies often start small. They may begin as an attempt to calm fears or avoid embarrassment. But left unchecked, they grow, and before long, they rewrite entire chapters of history. Nixon thought he could dismiss Watergate with a phrase. Johnson thought a story about an attack would rally support. Bush thought repeating weapons of mass destruction would make the threat real. Each of these lies started as words, but they ended in scandal, division, or war. For us today, remembering these lies is not just about history. It's about protecting the future. If past presidents could twist the truth, there's no reason to believe it can't happen again. By knowing the history, we recognize the patterns. And by recognizing the patterns, we can stop history from repeating itself. So here's the final takeaway. The truth is not a gift leaders hand down to the people. The truth is something the people must demand. Lies may come from the Oval Office, but the power to expose them always rests with us. Presidents may hold the highest office in the land, but history shows us that power doesn't make someone immune to lying. From Nixon's famous denial to Bush's weapons of mass destruction, these leaders proved that a single sentence can change the course of a nation. And while each lie eventually unraveled, the damage they left behind was permanent. Wars fought, trust broken, and legacy scarred. So here's the question for you. Which of these lies shocked you the most? Was it a war justified by false claims, or a scandal hidden behind denial? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your take. If you found this video eye-opening, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more untold stories of history and politics, and ring the bell so you never miss an upload. Because the truth isn't always what you're told, it's what you discover when you dig deeper. And together, we'll keep uncovering it.